Good day, everyone. I'm Jannel Martin K. Vidallo. This part is for me. Now, let's start. Impact of pronunciation on effective communication. Number 1. Clarity of message. Clear pronunciation helps the listener understand the speaker's message without confusion. So, clear pronunciation means saying words in a way that is easy for others to hear and understand. So, like for example, nagpapaliwanag ako. Tapos yung mga dinideliver kong report is very clear. So yun, mas madaling maintindihan ng mga listeners. Yung mga dinideliver kong salita. Mispronunciation can lead to misunderstanding or misinterpretation of keywords. So mispronunciation means saying words that wrong way. If you do not say a word correctly, people might not understand what you are trying to say. Like for example, kabaligtaran naman to nung clear pronunciation. Eto, nasa unahan ako and I'm going to deliver my report. Tapos yung pagde-deliver ko is hindi wasto. Yung mga words na sinasabi ko is mali-mali, ganyan. At ito yung nagkakos ito ng misunderstanding. Lalong-lalo na sa mga listeners. Number 2, credibility and confidence. Speakers who pronounce words correctly often appear more confident and professionals. When you say words correctly, people feel you know your topic well. This makes you look calm and sure of yourself. For example, doon sa means pronounce February. Di ba ang tamang pagbigkas ng February is February? Mispronunciation may affect how others perceive your knowledge or expertise, especially in formal or academic settings. Saying words incorrectly can make people question your knowledge or skills, especially in serious places like schools, offices, or presentations. Like for example, during a business presentation, someone says, "We need to focus on our prophecy goals." Mispronouncing proficiency as prophecy instead of proficiency. Number 3, interpersonal relationships. Good pronunciation builds trust and improves relationships in personal and professional communication. This is because clear and accurate pronunciation enhances communication to convey confidence and credibility. Miscommunication due to pronunciation errors can cause awkward moments or conflicts. Like when you say words wrong, people might not understand what you mean. This can lead to confusion or even awkward or upsetting situations. Number 4, cross-cultural communication. In international or multicultural settings, correct pronunciation is key to bridging language gaps. When people from different countries or cultures talk, saying words clearly and correctly helps everyone understand each other. Like for example, saying schedule. Sa UK, ang schedule nila is schedule. Sa US naman is schedule. Kaya correctly avoids confusion in international meetings. Even slight pronunciation errors may affect understanding across different accents or dialects. So dito, different accents or dialects pronounce the same word slightly differently. A tiny mistake can make your message unclear. For examples, saying beach, unclearly sounding like beach, might offend someone from another another culture even if you didn't mean. Next is professional opportunities. Clear pronunciation can open doors to career advancements. Employers and clients trust people who speak clearly. It shows confidence and competence, making you stand out for promotion or job offers. Like for example, isa kang salesperson tas yung name ng product na yung ina-advertise is tama, like Nike. Hindi mo siya binibigkas na sa salitang Nike. Kaya nagkokosto na mas mapapabilis ang iyong pakikipag-deal sa customer. Next, in profession requiring verbal communication such as teaching, customer service, or public speaking, it is a valuable asset. Jobs like teaching, customers, customer service, or public speaking rely on being understood instantly. Like for example, a teacher saying esophagus, it is correctly, and esophagus is not correctly. Examples: eunoia, meaning a beautiful mindset, goodwill. Sunder, the sudden realization that everyone has a life as complex as yours. Oblivion, a state of being forgotten or unaware. Lethargy, meaning a state of being super tired or drained. Umbra, meaning the darkest part of a shadow. Tongue twister practice. Number 1. She sells seashells by the seashore. 2. 6 slippery snails lead slowly seaward. 4. Sally swiftly sews 7 silk scarves. 4. Shy Shelly says she shall sew sheets. Tips say it slowly first, then speed it up as your tongue gets used to it. Again, number 1. She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells by the seashore. 2. 6 slippery snails lead slowly seaward. 6 slippery snails lead slowly seaward. Sally swiftly sews 7 silk scarves. Sally swiftly sews 7 silk scarves. Shy Shelly says she shall sew sheets. Shy Shelly says she shall sew sheets.
Now, we will be discussing the key element of pronunciation. So here's the first key element of pronunciation: the phonemes and sounds. These phonemes and sounds are both important in understanding how language works, especially in speaking and listening. So, what is phonemes? Phonemes are the smallest unit of sounds in a language that can change the meaning of a word. This means that even a tiny sounds can make one word different from another. Additional, phonemes are not actual sounds we hear, but rather the idea of the sounds. Later, I will provide an example of phonemes, but for now, let's discuss the IPA. So, what is IPA, or International Phonetic Alphabet? To present these sounds clearly, or the phonemes, we use something called the International Phonetic Alphabet, which give us a standard way to describe sounds across different language. This means that no matter what language you speak, the IPA gives a clear and consistent way to show how sounds are pronounced. Now, let's proceed to the sounds. So, what is sounds? Sounds or speech sounds refer to the actual Realizations of phonemes. That means sounds are the way we hear phonemes when we were speaking. It's how those tiny units of sounds actually come to life in conversations. Now let's proceed with the examples of phonemes, APA, and the sounds that I provide. So here's an example of phonemes, and I will also discuss the 44 phonemes in English. The 44 phonemes in English are divided into two categories, or to two main categories, the vowels and consonant. There are 20 vowel sounds and 24 consonant sounds. The vowel phonemes are divided into different categories based on how their sounds. As you can see here, there are short vowels, long vowels, and diphthong vowels, and R-controlled vowels. Each category of vowel phonemes has specific sounds. As I said earlier, for example of this is the short vowels. As you can see here, the a, e, I, O, U. These are the actual phonemes, not just the letter. It's about how the phonemes are pronounced. To help you understand this category better, I will define it. First, the short vowels. These vowels have a weak or brief sound. Like for example of this, the A in a flock, the E in a leopard, and the E in privilege. And for the O, the chocolate, and U, courage. For the long vowel, this means say their name and are held a little longer. Like the example here, for the vowel A that have horizontal line placed above a vowel, it shows that the vowel has a longer or long sounds. By the way, it's called macron. For example of that, the ballet and mystic. And the next is diphthong vowels. Diphthong vowels are blended vowels where the tongue moves from one vowel to another in a single syllable. For example of that, as you can see here, the poignant and bow. And for the last one, the R-controlled vowels. R-controlled vowels, when a vowel is followed by the letter R, the sounds change because the R controlled it. For example here, the bazaar, the quorum, and entrepreneur. Additionally, the APA represent sounds using these symbols. As you can see here, the A, E, I, O, U, that's the APA. And now for the consonant phonemes, there are 24. These are grouped based on how the sounds are made in the mouth. And there's a category also for the consonant phonemes, the plosive, fricatives, affricates, nasal, liquids, or glades. For you to understand this category, again, I will define each categories. The first is plosive, also called stop sounds. Plosive are made by blocking and then releasing airway. An example of this, the P, B, T, D, K, and Sh. So for example, sa B or sa Phi, pneumatic. The next is the fricatives. Fricatives are made by forcing air through a narrow space, creating frictions. Like for example of this, the F. As you can see here, the letter F is not the same to the examples. As you notice, the example doesn't seem to match the spelling of the letters. That's actual one of the trickiest part of English pronunciations. The sound or the phonemes doesn't always match the letters we use. For example of this is the F As you can see, philosophy. Even though it is start with PH, it's pronounced like F. The next is the affricates. Affricates are a blend of applosive and affricatives, a stop followed by frictions. For example of this, the CH or ricochet. And for the J is gesture. And for the nasal are made by letting air escape through the nose while the mouth is blocked. For example of this, the M, N, and NG. And for the last one, the liquids and glades. These are smooth, flowing sound made without friction. For example of this, in liquids, there are L and R, while in glades, there are W and Y. Later on, I will show a visual presentation of sounds or phonemes. As I mentioned earlier, sounds are the actual auditory form of phonemes. So now, here's how to pronounce the phonemes to produce the correct sounds. For the vowels, here's the visual presentation. As you can see, this visual presentation for vowel ballet, it shows how vowels are produced depending on how often our mouth is and how high or low our tongue is. And for the consonant, here's the visual presentation. And for the consonant sounds ball, shows the actual consonant sounds we produce. It helps us understand how our mouth movements create different speech. Anyway, as I discussed earlier, this is just a visual presentation to help you learn how to pronounce each phonemes. Now let's talk about the minimal pairs. The minimal pairs is a pair of words in a language that can differ by only a single sounds or phonemes in the same positions and have distinct meaning. Means, so as you can see here, I have provided the definitions. For example of this, here's in vowels, as you can see here, the kash and kosh. So do you notice the difference of that example? They only different by the a and u sounds. Even though it's just one small sound that's different, the meaning of the word completely change. Anyway, this is related to phonemes and sounds because it shows how important correct pronunciation is, because a small change in a word can create a completely different word and meaning. Now, let's discuss the second key element of pronunciation, the syllables and word stress. What is syllables? A syllable is a single, unbroken sound of a word. It usually contains a vowel sounds and can be spoken with one push of air from the lungs. Syllables are the beat in a word. So there are types of syllables: the closed syllables, often syllable, vowel and consonant E syllables, vowel tim syllables, and are controlled syllables. And the last one is the consonant le syllables or LE syllables. And I will discuss this type of syllables with the example. So here's the example of syllables or the types of syllables. First is closed syllables. So closed syllables are syllables ending with consonant resulting as short vowel sounds. For example of this is the absent. Absent. And for the often syllable, a syllable ending with vowel, leading to a long vowel sounds. As earlier at close syllable ending with consonant. Now, sa often syllable ending with vowels. For example of this, here the examples. Decide. Decide. And for the vowel consonant E, a syllable with a vowel followed by consonant and a silent E, making the vowel long. For example of this, refine, refine. Obscene, obscene. As you notice, I'm pronouncing it by syllables. And the next is vowel theme syllable. A syllable containing two or more letters that together make one vowel sounds. For example is seashore, seashore. And for the second to the last are controlled syllable. A syllable where a vowel is followed by R, altering the vowel sounds. For example of that is harmony, harmony. And the last one is consonant LE, a final syllable consisting of a consonant followed by LE, forming its own syllables. For example of that is obstacle, obstacle, obstacle. Farticle, farticle. Now let's tackle about word stress. Word stress is the emphasis or special force given to one syllable in a word when spoken. This makes the syllables louder, longer, and clearer than the others. There are rules for word stress. First, two-syllable words. And under for two-syllable words, there are nouns and adjectives, verbs, and preposition. For noun and adjectives, the first syllable is stress, like the example here. The example of noun and adjectives, table, table, window, window. Did you notice? The emphasis is on the first syllable of the word. And for the verbs and preposition, the second syllable is stressed. For example, relax, relax, begin, begin. And the next is three-syllable words. Under with this is word ending with ER or LY. Stress on the first syllables. Example of this, manager, manager. Quietly, quietly. The next is word ending in IC, SION, or TION. Stress is on the second to the last. For example is photography, photography, geography, geography. And the last one is compound words. Compound words are formed by combination two or more words to create a new word with a specific meaning. And under with this is compound nouns. The stress the first part of the word. For example, blackboard, blackboard, football, football. And the next is compound adjective and verbs. For example is old-fashioned, understand, understand.
After understanding the basic phonemes, vowels, and consonants, we now continue by looking at the three more key elements that affect how natural and clear our English pronunciation sounds. For the first part, intonation. Intonation is the rise and fall of the voice when speaking. It's how your voice goes up or down in speech to show meaning, emotion, or attitude. Intonation refers to the rise and fall of our voice as we speak. It plays a major role in how our message is understood because it shows not just what we mean, but also how we feel about what we are saying. For example, when we raise our pitch at the end of a sentence, it usually signals that we are asking a question. Like this sentence: do you like your new teacher? The pitch goes up at the end, showing it's a yes or no question. On the other hand, when we lower our pitch, it shows certainty or finality, like in I'll be back in a minute. Main patterns of intonation in English are there are different types of intonation we use. For the first one, falling intonation. Falling intonation is the pitch that drops at the end of the sentence. Falling intonation is used for making statements, giving commands, asking WH questions, confirming, or making exclamations. Here's the examples. For the statements, this is the example a while ago that I used. I'll be back in a minute. For commands, write your name here. For WH questions, where do you work? For confirmatory question tags, it's called today, isn't it? And for exclamations, that's great. For the next one, rising intonation. This is the pitch rises in the end of the sentence. Rising intonation is used for yes or no question and real question tags. For examples, for yes or no question, do you like your new teacher? And for real question tags, you like fish, don't you? Next one, rise fall intonation. This is voice rises then falls. Rise fall intonation is when the voice rises and then falls. It is for choices, lists, unfinished thoughts, and conditional sentence. For example, in choices, are you having soup or salad? For lists, we get apples, pears, bananas, and orange. For unfinished thoughts, the fish was good. For conditional sentence, if he calls, ask him leave a message. Lastly, fall rise intonation. Voice falls then rises within a word or phrase. For example, hesitation. I suppose so. For politeness or uncertainty, we should copy this. Intonation gives color and emotion to our words. Without it, our English would sound flat, robotic, and hard to understand. For the second part, rhythm and fluency. What is rhythm and pronunciation? Rhythm refers to the normal beat or rhythm in speech brought about by stressed and unstressed syllables. English is a stress time language, such that stressed syllables come at equal intervals and the rest gets compressed to meet a tiny. Rhythm in speaking is like the beat in music. In English, rhythm is based on the pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables. English is called a stress time language, which means that important or stressed syllables occur at regular intervals, and the unstressed ones are spoken more quickly between them. What is fluency? Fluency is the smooth, continuous, and natural flow of speech without excessive pauses or hesitation. Rhythm has a significant role in gaining fluency. Fluency is our ability to speak smoothly, continuously, and natural without too many unnecessary pauses, like fillers sound like oh or interruptions. Being fluent does not mean speaking super fast. It means expressing our ideas clearly and connecting our words and thoughts without sounding choppy or unnatural. Good rhythm also supports fluency because when our speech follows a natural beat, it's easier to maintain a smooth flow. In a sentence, content words, nouns, main verbs, adjectives, adverbs are usually stressed, while function words like the, to, of are not. For example, I want to go to the store. So I will do the clap on one, go, and store to feel the rhythm. I want to go to the store. Here we stress the important words want, go, and store, while the words to and the are spoken faster and softer. If we're trying clapping with it, we naturally clap on the stressed words, creating a steady rhythm. Using the correct rhythm makes our speech sound natural, musical, and easier for others to understand. For third part, connected speech. What is connected speech? Connected speech is the way sound change when we speak quickly and naturally. It helps our words flow better. Connected speech is how words blend together when we speak fast and naturally. Native English speakers almost never pronounce words one by one clearly. Instead, sound change, link, or even disappear to make speech faster and smoother. So, there are different types of connected speech. The first one, linking. When, for the first one, linking. When one word ends in a consonant and the next starts with a vowel, we link them. For example, go on, go on, see it, see it. For the second types of connected speech, the assimilation. A sound changes to match the sound near it. For example, good girl, good girl. That place, that place. For the third one, Alyjhamae. A sound is trapped in fast speech. For example, friendship, friendship. Next day, next day. Lastly, intrusion. An extra sound is added between words to help link them. For example, he asks, he asks. Go on, go on. So, Mastering connected speech is very important because it makes our speaking sound natural, fluent, and similar how native speakers really talk. Without connected speech, our English would sound too stiff, robotic, and overly formal.
Common pronunciation challenges. Mother tongue language. The sounds and pattern associated with your first language can interfere with learning new sounds and pattern in a second language. Meaning, the sound you're used to from your first language can make it hard to learn how to pronounce new sounds in a different language. Your brain and mouth are used to certain pattern. Difficult sounds and sound substitution. Some English sounds don't exist in your language, so they hard to say. You might replace them with sound you know. Some English sounds may be unfamiliar because they don't exist in your native language, making them difficult to pronounce. As a result, you might end up replacing these unfamiliar sounds with ones you're more comfortable with your own language. This is a natural part of language learning, as your brain tends to use sounds you're already familiar with to make speech easier. Displace word stress. Stressing the wrong part of a word can confuse people. In English, one part of a word is said louder or longer. This is called stress. If you stress the wrong part, the word can sound strange or meaning something different. This confuse people or make it hard to understand you. Fast versus slow speech. Speaking too fast is unclear. Too slow sounds unnatural. A normal speed is best. When you speak too fast, people might not understand you because the words are too rush. When you speak too slow, can sounds unnatural or boring. The best way is to speak at a normal speed, not too fast, not too slow, so people can easily understand you.
Good day, everyone. I'm Alyjhamae Sevillano, the next presenter. I will be discussing about strategies to improve pronunciation skills. And there are 6 strategies to improve pronunciation skills. And the first one is listening to native speakers. This involves regularly listening to how native speakers pronounce words and sentences. It helps learners become familiar with natural intonation, rhythm, and pronunciation pattern. Listening to native speakers help you improve your pronunciation by exposing you to natural intonation, rhythm, and pronunciation patterns. For example, watching English TV shows or podcasts allows you to hear how native speakers pronounce words like hello or phrases like how are you, helping you mimic their natural flow and intonation. And the second strategy is practicing minimal pairs. Minimal pairs are words that differ by only one sound. Example, sheep versus sheep. Practicing this helps learners to distinguish and produce similar sounding words more accurately. Practicing minimal pairs helps you improve your pronunciation by focusing on words that differ by only one sound. For example, practicing sheep and sheep helps you distinguish and accurately produce the difference between the short I and long double E sounds, making your speech clear and more accurate. The third strategy is using phonetic transcriptions and IPA, or International Phonetic Alphabet. This strategy involves learning the symbols used to represent sounds in the ITA. It helps learners understand the exact pronunciation of words regardless of spelling. For example, the word hello is represented as in IPA, showing you how to pronounce the individual sounds and stress patterns regardless of the word's spelling. And the next strategies will be discussed by the next presenter.
Good day everyone, I am Sofia Angelyn Alcantara, and I am the last presenter for this module. So, continuation lang ng topic ni Miss Sevillano, it is also the strategies to improve pronunciation skills. So, let's proceed to recording and self-reviewing speech. Dito is when you record yourself practicing a short monologue or speech, like introducing yourself or describing your daily routine. And when you watch it or listen to it, you'll know if you pronounce the word clearly or did you speak too fast or too slow, and if your voice sound natural or robotic. So the next one is practicing tongue twister. Familiar naman kayo sa tongue twister, di ba? So nag-search ako ng example ng tongue twister. Ito siya. Peter Piper pick a peck of pickled pepper. So practicing this, it will help you improve clarity, fluency, and all. And for the last, shadowing technique. Shadowing technique is a language learning method where a learner listens to a native speaker's audio and immediately repeats what they hear, mimicking the speaker's pronunciation, rhythm, intonation, and speech patterns as closely as possible. For example, you are watching a tutorial on how to pronounce words properly. You try to sound exactly like them. It's called shadowing because you are shadowing or following just behind the speaker, like an echo. This helps improve speaking skills, listening skills, accent, and overall pronunciation. That's all for my part. Thank you.
So, that's the end of our discussion. We've also prepared an assessment called Pronunciation Poetry Performance to check your pronunciation skills. Here's the instructions. You will be graded based on how well you pronounce, how fluent and expressive you are, and how confident you sound. Good luck and enjoy performing your piece.
We're done with our presentation. We hope you learned the importance of good pronunciation. And before we end, I'd like to share a quote for everyone. Clear pronunciation is not about perfection. It's about connection. Thank you for watching.